Hi everybody, I'm Harry. We're here at Level Up Entertainment in Mays Landing, New Jersey. And today we're going to teach you how to play some Star Wars pinball. And I also have a couple other folks here that are going to help us out. We've got Brian.
Hey!
He's going to help teach you guys how to play. We both approach this game in very different ways, so it's going to be, you're going to get two different play styles here. So this is a Stern pinball game that came out in summer of 2017. It was designed by Steve Ritchie with the code by Dwight Sullivan. It's a really deep and complex game, so this tutorial might run a little long, but we're going to give you a really good overview of different strategies and how to play this game. So first things first, with the glass off before we get started, I'm going to point out some of the features of the game and some of the different shots. When you plunge the ball, you're going to plunge it and it's going to come into this section here where there's 3 targets under a mini LCD screen. It's going to bank off those targets and it's going to come this direction. Sometimes it hits up here, sometimes it hits over here. You want to be, as a new player, you want to watch where the ball bounces off of when it comes this way, because it tends to hit up here and then go right out of this out lane here, and you lose your ball and that's it. And people get angry. So don't keep an eye on where it's going. Make sure that you're keeping aware of that. And if you see it heading into danger going this way, what you want to do is give the game a little bit of a bump from right to left, and you might be able to save the ball and influence it to bounce it back out in this direction. So ideally what you want it to do is hit the lit arrow, plunge it into the lit letter of force, and then you're going to be able to play from there. You have a left orbit, you have a spinner here on the Pro. It'll take the ball around into the pop bumpers in the back, or sometimes it'll take it all the way around. On here you have a horseshoe. It's a quick U-turn, which will take the ball coming out here, or vice versa. And that's your Death Star shot there. It's one of the most important shots of the game, so you want to get familiar with how to hit that consistently. It's going to start your hyperspace multi-ball, your Death Star modes, and also it's a mode shot for many of the missions that are involved in this game. Another thing you want to look at is your left ramp here. It's your Endor shot. It also is your Super Jackpot, your Extra Ball shot, and again, it's a mode shot for a lot of these different missions. That'll take the ball right here to your left flipper. To the right of that is the right side of that horseshoe. Then you have the 3 bank targets. These are the TIE fighter targets. There'll be TIEs lit up on the LCD screen. As you're shooting them, you're destroying them. And you also have a TIE fighter on a spring right here and a target there. As you're destroying TIE fighters, you're building your TIE fighter numbers until you hit TIE fighter multi-ball, which is a quick multi-ball in this game. There's another way to get TIE fighters, which we'll talk about in a minute. To the right of that target is the right ramp. It's important on certain modes, and that'll take the ball right around to your right flipper. And then to the right of that is the right orbit.
And that feeds up in the pump bumpers up here.
Yep. And then to the right of that is your mystery scoop. Again, on certain Star Wars, this mystery scoop will tend to kick it right down the middle, so you want to be aware of that. This Star Wars is set to give you a ball save when the ball comes out of that scoop, but not all Star Wars will do that. So you want to watch out when you hit the ball in the scoop. That'll give you a mystery award. That's also your Tatooine shot to start those missions. Around the playfield, you have stand-up targets that are Jedi training. That'll increase your Jedi rank level, and we can talk about that in more detail later. And then down here is your out lanes. On the right side, you have a virtual kickback. It's called the escape. When this is lit, you will be served another ball if the ball goes down the right out lane. And then you have your in lanes. There's the Rebel symbols in here that light yellow. You want to light those up to start your hyperspace multi-ball to work, your hyperspace hurry up, which if you do that successfully 2 times, it will start a hyperspace multi-ball. Around the playfield, you'll see here, Star Wars tends to like to talk to you a lot. Around the playfield here in the middle, you'll see your mode progress. There's 3 modes for each section of the game. There's Endor, Hoth, Death Star, and Tatooine. Each character has certain modes that will be lit already. That means those modes are completed. You do not have to play them. If they're unlit, that means you have to play that mode. If you completely successfully finish all 3, you will light the mini wizard mode, which is these targets in the back. The 4 characters are Han Solo, Princess Leia, R2-D2, and Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
And
to get to any of those modes, as a matter of fact, you're going to hit each of these shots, Hoth, Endor, Death Star, or Tatooine, 3 times in a row, and it'll light that. What you can also do in this game Real interesting is you can stack multiple modes together. You'll see that when we get into it, but you can actually run 2 modes. Almost all of the modes will allow you to do that and run them at the same time, with the exception of the mini wizard modes or the asteroid field, which is on Hoth. That is also your video mode as well. It's the same. There's a mission for it as well as it being the generic video mode.
Right. And the only other feature that we have are the force targets here. These are traditional drop targets, which a lot of people were excited to see Stern go back to drop targets. As you complete force, it will light one of these letters and give you an award. So the first time you complete all of them, knock them all down, you'll get the F lit, and that will light your mystery. Second time through, it's the O, that will light your virtual kickback, the escape. The third time is the R, it will light the video mode. The fourth one is the C, that will give you double playfield multipliers, which we'll talk about as we're playing. Very important to getting high scores on this game. And then if you finish it the fifth time, the E, that will light Lightsaber Duel, which is a special mode. We have some thoughts about Lightsaber Duel. It locks you out of progress throughout from a lot of what you may be working on the rest of the game, and it makes it so that the left ramp is the only thing that's active at that time. I'm sure we'll get into it as we're playing, and we'll groan and moan about it, but you'll see what I mean by Lightsaber Duel. But it is required for you to get to the final wizard mode, which is battling the Emperor. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to complete all of the missions. You're trying to complete the side missions like Lightsaber Duel. There's another side mission called Escape from Boba Fett. And you're trying to get 100 TIE fighters, reach Jedi Master. There's all kinds of different things that you need to do to get to that final wizard mode. But it's like the final boss of the pinball machine, if you will.
Yes. One more note on the force targets as well. You will also... if you hit the blinking force target, as Harry pushes me in front of the screen, these will, when all of your stand-up targets are up, it will cycle through the lights on them. If you hit the one that is lit, it counts as knocking the entire bank down, and it gives you kind of like a freebie, and it scores one of those letters for you while it's cycling through. But if you hit any other target on there before whatever's lit, and they're cycling pretty fast, it'll just go into you have to knock them all down. Other things to note are the multipliers. There is an action button right here, and it is your best friend. The action button will turn on and turn off the X's here, and these X's are your multipliers. The multiplier will be shown up at the screen as I point all the way up here, and it will give you a multiplier on whatever shots are lit. If they're green, it means that the multipliers are locked in place and active. If you hit the action button, it will turn red, and it will be able to move around based on your movement of the flippers, but will not be active. You won't get any points for it while it's moving, so you have to lock the multipliers down and then shoot your shots. Even more, as you get more and more points and increase that multiplier, and you can increase that multiplier through hitting a bunch of the targets around the field, up on your TIE fighter targets. Some of the Jedi targets will sometimes allow that to go up as well. But as you hit those targets and build the multiplier, it shrinks from an area of 3x's to 2x's to 1x. And that's something that we'll see.
Yeah, and for any new players playing this game, if you're not comfortable taking your hands off the flipper buttons to move the multipliers around, what we would recommend is set them here on these 3 shots and just leave. Make sure that these 3 shots, these 3 X's here, are green, and leave it there for the rest of the game. Because these 3 shots tend to be the most used throughout the game. They're also the most valuable. And as they shrink, they're going to shrink to these 2 shots, and then I think the last one will shrink to the Death Star. And those shots will award you the most points. If you don't want to worry about pushing this button and moving the multipliers around, leave them on these 3 shots and just call it a day.
Yeah, you'll see us move them around wildly. Don't worry about it. You can still get a fantastic score just kind of leaving them in place. The only major time that I would definitely recommend moving it is for a super jackpot in a multi-ball, but that's really the only time that you would have to move it as a new player, if at all.
Yep. All right, so with that overview, we're going to play a couple games here. Like I said, Brian and I approach this game very differently, so you're going to see 2 different styles of play, and we'll see who get the best score out of that.
Sounds good.
Just start it up.
So we'll throw it in. I will put 2 players on?
No.
No, we'll do them one at a time. All right, so as you start off here, you see use the left flipper to choose a hero. So you can go through, there's R2-D2, Leia, and Han. Luke is strong with the Force, which means it's easier for him to get the Jedi ranks. You get a little bit more time. As far as R2-D2, you get the Clever with Multipliers bonus, which allows him to keep these red X or the X's in more lanes for a longer period of time before they shrink. Leia strong in missions. She'll give you some extra time in some things, but overall it's generally kind of a weaker power. And then Han, Outwit Bounty Hunters, I will give him a longer period of time in the Escape from Boba Fett mode to hit certain shots. My particular path of things is I typically use Han. You also have the Choose Your Path bonuses that you get to cycle through with the right flipper. So I'll go back to Han, and you can cycle through that. So you can either choose to immediately, on plunging your ball, have your Tatooine missions lit, your 5 TIE Fighters, light your Endor missions, or light Escape from Boba Fett right off. I particularly like to light Tatooine. It is a really difficult shot, and one of the few shots you kind of really can't backhand well. So having 3 shots already set to Tatooine is a good way to start. So we'll go ahead. You can also, if you don't feel comfortable plunging with the plunger, the action button will also plunge the ball. So let's go ahead and actually get a ball moving here. And you can see that went right off of that bank of targets up at the front. And then into the Force targets over there, and it hit the lit target, so we already have our F completed. While I've got the ball cradled, I'm going to move the targets, and as you can see, they're blinking there, which means that my timer is running out for that. For Han, I typically like to go straight up into the Hoth scoop and drain out the right side. That happens. We're going to go ahead to the second thing that I like to take is the TIE Fighters here. When you reach, as you can see, I don't know if you can see it somewhere on the little mini screen here, as I attempt to cycle through things, it will give you a little bit of information of how close you are to the next thing. So we're going to light TIE Fighters. 5 TIE Fighters will start our TIE Fighter Hurry Up, which starts a hurry up right at this target here. When you hit that target, it will light the action button, and you have to hit the action button as fast as you can to score bonus TIE Fighters. We're set to 30 TIE Fighters on this machine for TIE Fighter Multi-Ball. I believe default is 35, but we have it set a little bit easier here for the store. So we'll go ahead. I will plunge. I will wait until I get control, and then right into that target, and just kind of hammer away on this button. There we go. So we've got
current TIE Fighter progress is shown on the mini LCD screen as well as on the display next to your score.
Yes. Up as I attempt to. Harry will point it out as I flip the ball again here. So we're gonna try and we're gonna just hit this Hoth target, this Hoth loop, and it feeds it from the Hoth right up here, up down through this Death Star, and it's kind of a quick catch. But as you can see, I've got Hoth lit. So my options here up on the screen, we can navigate the asteroid field or escape from Mos Eisley. I said navigate the asteroid field does not let you double up, so we're just going to do that. And this is also the video mode for the machine. So you use left and right for the flippers, and you can use the action button for a boost, which is something that I don't think it actually tells you anywhere. But you can, while your ship is blue. As you can see up in the top right, it'll tell you what your multiplier for this mode is. And then there's levels of it. So as you do things, as you get multipliers and wizard modes and things, as I hit an asteroid, it will get harder and harder and harder for you. But it doesn't really get any more points as far as I can tell. So that was only, 20 million points worth of shot. A good game on this is over 1 billion points, is where we've hit. So now you can see I've got Escape from Hoth lit. I can get to that by either the Hoth or the Tatooine because they're both blinking. Once a mode is, or once an area is set, you can go ahead and start it from anywhere that is blinking. So again, Hoth target's easy to get. We're going to play Escape from Hoth, and it's going to give me a 2-ball multi-ball because I've only completed 1 mode on here by myself. So the goal is hit the blue lights. But the real goal is to hit the Force targets. Because if you can hit the Force targets, you light an add-a-ball. at the action button. And the action button add a ball is what you want.
It actually looks like a ball save when you're in multi-ball. You've also started time.
Yep. So now I've got an add a ball for... I've got an add a ball for 2 multi-balls running at once. So we're just going to try and...
Is there anything you're shooting for in particular right now, or just hitting points everywhere?
So right now I'm trying to just hit all of those TIE Fighter shots, which are lit up red, and the blue modes for the Endor shots. I've got that left orbit that I have to hit right now. Also, just trying to not lose your balls is important.
But you do have that add ball still in your back pocket. So
Yeah, so if I screw up, we can go ahead and we can fix that. Separating the balls, getting 1 on each flipper would be ideal. So I have to hold that down, and you saw that. Now it's going to kick it back out and give me more balls to play with. So I hit that left orbit. I've got to hit it a couple more times.
So in a normal multi-ball, if you drain down to 1 ball, your multi-ball's over, and you're back to regular play.
But with the add-a-ball, it gives you another ball save on top of it. So it gives you essentially one more buyout, and as you can see, we're not going to finish that. But that's okay. That's not a big deal.
So you've doubled your score almost.
Yes, we've
with
got...
just that one mode.
Yeah, we have a 20x multiplier right now, which is not bad, but we're just going to drop that. And here, that's the Path to Jedi multi-ball up there at the top. It'll tell you all of the 8 different things you need. You need all 4 of the inserts. Escape from Boba Fett, Jedi Master, 100 TIE Fighters, and... Jedi Lightsaber Duel.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead. We did that. Let's try... we'll do something weird here. We'll light Escape from Boba Fett. You get it from completing combos, which is something that's kind of a little bit out of my general play style. But it lights all the shots white when I light this one. And what you do is, as you complete these shots, one of these shots Boba Fett's hiding in. And if you do that, it'll create a hurry-up mode where you have to hit a bunch of shots. So let's try and find him.
Boba Fett? Boba Fett? Where?
We'll hit a couple of shots. Apparently, he's not in any of the easy ones to get. This ramp up here, one of the good things that you can do is you can easily backhand that ramp as I botch it and lose the ball out the left side. So, a poor game of Star Wars to start off.
But you took us through quite a bit of the Han path, and you can see one of the advantages of selecting Han was that Brian was able to get to that mini wizard mode very quickly and really, pour the points on. Once you get into that mode, you had like 115 million in no time, really.
Yeah, and if you're playing, if you're behind in a tournament and you've got a really nasty playing Star Wars, it's a good quick way to get into multi-balls fast and get you some real quick, like an early push-in points. So here, I'm going to let Harry take us through.
All right.
Let's see where we're at.
I like that path, and I see the advantages of it. I prefer using R2-D2. He's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. He's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. You do have to do a little bit more work, but let's walk through it. So,
also, I forgot to point out, as you can see down here on the playfield, you can see R2-D2 is going to start with
different
Hoth 1 already done, or Tatooine 3, or Death Star 2 and 3. So if, for example, if Harry wanted to get into a quicker multi-ball, he could complete Death Star 1, and it'll give him battle for the Death Star. And then down here, there's a little bit of a glare.
Yeah,
but,
I apologize about the glare.
Endor 1 and 2 are already done, so Endor 3. So you could, if you can light Death Star and Endor, get Death Star 1 and Endor 3 started at the same time, complete them, and then have 2 wizard modes ready to play.
And Brian just explained my basic strategy with R2-D2. It's, you're that much closer to not only 1, but 2 wizard modes, and that's my goal every time I play. So we're gonna walk through a game doing that. When you first start off, like Brian was saying, you can see the characters have different missions spotted. So as I cycle through, you can see that Princess Leia has a couple, Han Solo has a couple ready, and they're all different. So you kind of want to look at what missions you want to play and who you want to be, along with their skills.
Yeah, like the rest of, if you go back to Han for just a sec, the rest of playing Han, Han has escaped from Hoth. 1 is
Cover up
unlit.
the glare there.
So you only have to play 1 in Hoth, but you also only have to play 1 in Tatooine and 1 in Endor. So it's a real quick way to get to all of those. And then the Escape from Tatooine 2 and the Battle for Endor are the same shots. So you complete those 2 real quick. So the second step of that is complete the multi-balls that we did there, and then go into the second half of that for the longer game. And then you get 3 wizard modes, and then you're just kind of stuck with Death Star, Lightsaber, Duel, etc.
All right, let's go back to R2. R2 has a couple of different choices from the Choose Your Path, and again, that's with the left flipper button will select your character, the right flipper button cycles through the Choose Your Path. I like to start with light Death Star missions because, as we talked about, he only needs 1 more to get to that final wizard mode, so I'm going to select that. When I plunge the ball, it's going to light these 3 X's green. It's going to lock that in. I don't want them there. I want them where we talked about earlier. I want them here. So I'm going to have to switch that over while the ball's in play to get them where I want them. So let's do this plunge here, and we'll see what happens. All right, get the ball back under control. And now is a good time. Now that the ball's under control, it's in a cradled position, I can switch this around by hitting the action button, which I apologize, it's off screen, but it's a little button on the lockdown bar. It turns these arrows red, and now with the left flipper, I can move it over to where I want it so that it's right here. And now I hit the button again 1 more time, and it turns green. So now they're set here. Death Star's ready, but what I'd like to do is bring Endor into it and stack them together. So I need to light Endor first. I'm going to shoot this ramp 3 times. Try my best not to fail, because this is a quick and mean game. All right, that's 1. Now, what I'd like to do is get it kind of cradled up on this left side, because then you can backhand it, which is hitting the flipper to hit that side, and you can do that really easily if you can get it under control. So, but now it's on the right side. I'm going to hit that Endor ramp again. So that's 2. And that's an outlane. So we have 2. Luckily, the progress that I had on that Endor shot carries over. So I only have to hit it 1 more time to light Endor, and then I need it 1 more time to start the mission. The bonus multiplier, I think in a tournament setting I might light the video mode, but you've already seen that. I don't want to run that through that again. So I'm just going to... Bonus can be pretty valuable in this game, and it can stack really high. Build your bonus multipliers. You need to hit the ball into the pop bumpers and have it go through. There's 3 Imperial symbols up there. The ball needs to go through those in lanes and light all 3, and that'll add 1 more to your bonus multiplier. And that multiplies whatever bonus you have by 1. So you can get that up to 5x, 6x, 7x. It's 7 times whatever bonus you have built, which is very, very valuable. You're also getting bonus X by hitting the lit TIE Fighter target here off the plunge. So if I can time this right so that the ball hits that TIE Fighter target when I plunge, I'll also get 6x right now, which is very valuable.
Yeah, so you'll go up to a 9x bonus multiplier.
And before I plunge this, I want to make sure these X's are where I want them, which is right here. So using the left flipper, I set the X's right there. All right. Get this ball under control here. All right. That was a little early. See if we can backhand that. Nope. All right, now we got the ball back under control on the left side. I'm going to try that backhand shot because it's a little bit safer. When you're making shots across the playfield, you're increasing the chance that you hit something that's going to make the ball bounce back and go toward the middle. When you're making backhand shots, which are shots to the left side with the left flipper, you're much safer chance of it coming back down to your flipper again instead of going cross playfield. So whenever you can take a backhand shot, it's always preferable than across the playfield. Ah, almost up there. Let's try again. There we go. 1 more shot. Oh my goodness, that right out lane.
Yeah. Yeah, the outlanes on these machines are pretty unforgiving.
Pretty
There's
quick.
just nice and wood on the side. The ball just kind of slaps into it and loses all of its momentum.
Let's see here. We're going to light our bonus multipliers again. Try to get the ball under control. man, that had a lot of spin on it. All right, well, that's a quick R2 game. Yeah, I just needed one more shot to that Endor target to start those modes.
Try that again. Let's see if we can get
Yeah, maybe we'll give it one more shot here.
You can do it without explaining.
Yeah, here, I'll navigate for you.
Oh, my.
Yeah, Harry has immediately had to use his ball save there because it decided to be a little mean. He already lit his Death Star, so he's going to go straight into the Endor target. The Endor ramp. And there we go, he's cradled up. There's the back end to the Endor, and you can kind of quickly hit that.
Alright, we got that TIE Fighter hurry up started there.
Banging around on some TIE Fighters. You can increase your hurry up bonus by hitting the TIE Fighters while it's running, but it's generally a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, these targets will drain you pretty quickly. Yeah, you just want to...
A lot of the stand-ups on here will just send the ball screaming down the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're only hitting those mainly on accident. So Harry has hit a yellow arrow, which is the hyperspace hurry up. It is a hit the Death Star shot as quick as he can for some bonus, and because he had Death Star lit, it will give him that.
Right.
Now he's in the modes.
And
so
I can pick to double those up, the last Endor mode I need and the last Death Star mode I need. So they will be running at the same time. So I'm going to be shooting for purple shots, shooting for green shots. The advantage of that is you could knock out shots together that you may need. The disadvantage to that is you may be locked into one mode or the other if you've already completed the other one, until you finish them.
The Rescue the Princess is just shoot 4 purple shots, and they'll be blinking. The Knock out the Shield Generator is shoot the 4 shots, the Death Star, the Endor, the Hoth, and then the right ramp, and then do them again.
Right, and that's usually how you get stuck. Because you can finish Rescue the Princess pretty quickly, but you can get stuck in the Endor one because you have to do 8 shots versus 4. So, let's see. All right, we're on ball 3. I'm going to try to light that TIE Fighter hurry up again because what I like to do is bring TIE Fighter multi-ball into trying to finish these because there's so many shots.
Yeah, you can just kind of flail around for a little bit and kind of knock out whatever's there. There you go. Just gonna hammer on that button.
See, I still have ball save on, so we did get the TIE Fighter multi-ball started.
And if you're close enough to TIE Fighters that you think that you might complete, TIE Fighter get to the multi-ball, you can let a ball drain because it immediately sets your ball save as soon as it hits 30 TIE Fighters. So you'll get all those balls back. You won't lose your progress if you do it fast enough.
That was the virtual kickback there, saving me from losing my ball. All right, so I have one more shot over here that I need.
I'll move the things.
And now I got to do all those green shots all over again. So.
The mystery. Hey, we haven't gotten here yet.
No.
You gotta get 3 bonus points. So he's got Spinner, Jedi Training, and 2x multipliers.
Move the multiplier around.
So there's the Endor ramp.
Dead bounce there. Dead bouncing in this game is really important because of how fast the ball moves. What I like to do is have the ball just hit this flipper without flipping it, bounce it over. New pinball players tend to flip way more than they need to. If the ball has enough speed, it will actually bounce over to the other flipper so that you can get it under control easier. And what I like to do, I have this right ramp lit for a shot. I'm going to try my best to backhand it. And I'm going to move the multipliers over there so that way I get extra points for that. So it's now going to be 2 times the value if I hit that shot from this right side. Missed. Missed again.
Star Wars doesn't like us today.
No, it's in a cranky mood. All right, I'm going to try that same thing. There's
There
a
we
backhand. We're almost there. All right, now I just need that Death Star shot.
Which is also backhandable.
Try it there like that. Oh, no.
Oh, that
And
is
here it is.
So this is why I don't like Lightsaber Duel, because I just did all that work. I finished Endor and I finished the Death Star. So those mini wizard modes are there and they're waiting for me. They're ready to go. But now I've locked out of all progress. I can't start them because I hit the force targets down too many times and Lightsaber Duel's ready. So the game is trying to say, like, hey, you did all this stuff. You get this reward. You get this great mode. But the problem with that is it's taking me out of everything I was working towards. And if I drain right now, I'm still going to be stuck in that mode. I think that's ball 3, so my game will be over.
Yeah.
And I won't get to enjoy what I just worked so hard to get to. So that's my one criticism. I wish that this Lightsaber Duel was either skippable or an option or something, but it's not. And everything in the game is locked out until I hit that left
Even
ramp.
worse, it's not worth it very much.
No.
It is kind of just like Harry's gonna go into it. We get a really cool scene playing.
The animations are great, and the lighting is great. The GI changes, blue, red. It's really cool, but it's just not worth the risk. There's too much risk in the amount of shots you need to hit, and especially with what's waiting for me on the other side.
And you have to hit the blue shots to add progress, and you have to make 5 of these blue shots, and then the red shots just add time. The mode is smart enough to know that you're holding the ball,
Yeah.
so you can't even time
I
this
can't
out.
time it out. I've got 34 seconds that I just have to survive and try to hit these blue shots to complete it. But it's just, I'm putting the ball at risk. I'm shooting these shots, and I might lose out on my wizard mode that I worked so hard to get to because this mode started.
Yeah, through no real fault of your own, you get locked out. And then even if you drain in this mode, it doesn't go away. It will actually keep you in Lightsaber Duel, as opposed to all of the other important modes in the game, where if you get in them, you're just gone. So,
Let's see if I can just... Alright, so Lightsaber Duel's over. I can now start the stuff that I worked so hard for. Video mode's also lit. You could try for that, but what I really just want to get to these wizard modes because I worked so hard for them. So there we go. So now you can't stack the wizard modes together. You can only pick one or the other. So I'll just pick Destroy the Death Star for now.
Also, picking Destroy the Death Star now means that Harry can hit the Endor shot, which he used to start this, again to start Endor. But it'll shut off his Death Star for the remainder of the game for most starts.
Like Brian was saying, I want to focus on the force targets first to get my Atta-Ball.
There we go.
And I accidentally started Hyperspace Multi-Ball because that's my second successful completion of Hyperspace.
Hyperspace Multi-Ball. I'm going to slide over a little closer to here. That way you can hear me. Hyperspace Multi-Ball, it will lock the ball in the hyperspace and the Death Star ramp. And if you just keep hitting it in there, you'll just keep consecutively getting the Death Star hyperspace bonuses. And then after a while, it'll just kind of time that out and then give you additional bonuses for hitting the yellow shots all around the board.
So right now I'm trying to get that Endor ramp again. It's recreating the Death Star trench run. And I just got a danger warning there. I failed.
But now you get to put that ball right.
What I actually want to do right now, because I had that multi-ball, it built my value up of my multipliers pretty high. So I'm going to try to take a video mode here, if I can hit it.
Yeah, 14x video mode's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get there. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got a 15x video mode now, which is, you know, that's good points for just, you know, trying to, without even playing pinball, without even putting the ball at risk. I'm just kind of flying around here playing video game pinball.
Yeah, and it's you get points for how many asteroids in total you pass, your best streak, and then you get a bonus if you were perfect. The perfect bonus,
Failed.
depending on how high your multiplier is, can be worth a ton.
128 million.
Yeah, for a single shot.
Mm-hmm. Now I can move that over. Try to hit that Endor bonus.
So you can get that all the way up to 40x, and you can take that at 40x. You can make that video mode shot.
Pretty
and
valuable.
It's worth a ton.
So this is the Endor Wizard mode. Kind of doing the same thing. I wanna try to destroy the Death Star. I'm Lando Calrissian in that final Death Star battle. Looks like I've got my TIE Fighter hurry up available again.
Like 90 million points.
Extra ball lights at 90. Oh no!
77.
I failed to finish that force target.
That is 2 Death Stars.
So I failed. That was a pretty bad wizard mode, but that completes Endor and that completes Death Star, and that's why I like R2-D2, because now if I'll cycle through, you can see R2-D2's path here, path to the Jedi multi-ball. That's the
He's got Endor
fight
complete,
the Emperor.
Death Star complete.
Yeah, and I'm almost there with the TIE Fighters. And Lightsaber duel I should have finished, but I was cranky.
Nobody should finish Lightsaber duel.
Oh no! And again, that's a tilt. That's so I was trying to shake the game to get the ball out of this area. If I could bounce it off the rubbers or something, I could try to get it out. But if you shake it just a little bit too much, the game will tilt. The power to the flippers will die, and you won't get any of your end of ball bonus. So it's like a penalty, but you do get 2 warnings first, and you can try to shake the game a little bit and get the ball out of danger. So
Even with that, still high score number 4.
Yeah. So I think that's a pretty comprehensive tutorial on Star Wars. We got to see pretty much everything except for the Boba Fett escape. Yeah, I think if you play that way and you use some of these strategies, you'll start winning a lot of tournaments that you have on Star Wars. And Star Wars is a game that's used pretty regularly in tournaments because of how hard it plays and how fast it is. So go out to your local pinball parlor and go play some pinball. You can always come out here to Level Up Entertainment in Mays Landing, New Jersey. You'll find Star Wars Pro here, and we have a couple other great games. And we have different tournaments and events that we have on the pinball machine. So come on out and visit us, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Come back and see us next time.